Well, hello, welcome to Joellen's Kitchen. Today I'm going to take advantage of some of the wonderful things in my garden. Because fall is coming, within a few weeks I believe we'll have frost, so it's now time to use up these wonderful God-given gifts of fresh vegetables. As you can see, I have an abundance of potatoes, which I grew from the eyes of potatoes that I had gotten from the store. I have in here everything from broccoli and peppers to some wonderful, wonderful tomatoes. Some of them not so big, but wonderful tomatoes nonetheless. And some of them are not totally red, but that's okay, they will get there. So I'm using up some of these wonderful vegetables to make Pennsylvania Dutch stuffed green peppers. And I'm simply going to start with, it broke in half, but it's 2 pounds of ground beef. Now you can choose to use half hamburger and half ground pork, but beef and pork rather, or get something already mixed, whatever your preferences are. And to that, I've already diced up 3 small of my tomatoes from my garden, and we're going to add those. And we're going to add half a teaspoon of salt. We're going to add a cup to a can of corn. I like to use cream corn. That's kind of Pennsylvania Dutchy to me. So I'm going to put in a can of creamed corn. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of oregano. It can be fresh or dried. Mine happens to be dried. It's 1 and 2. We also need to add 2 1/2 to 3 cups of cooked rice. And I've had my rice cooking, so it is to the point where it's done, and I just have to measure it. I think I have about 2 cups in here, or a little better. There's 1 cup. Two cups, and I'm just going to put the rest of it in there because that looks like about a half a cup here yet. We also put in a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Now freshly grated is great, but if you don't have that, I have some great stuff that I keep in the refrigerator so it's ready to go when I need it. 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. And 2 cups of grated cheddar cheese, or I like to use a mixture of cheeses. And so I just get a bag. This one happens to say Italian style. It has provolone, Parmesan, Romano, mozzarella, and Asiago cheeses all in the same bag. So you can do different things. But again, that's 2 cups of cheese. We're going to put the 1 cup in there, and then we're going to get a 2nd cup, but this time we're not going to put the whole cup in. We're going to put most of it in and maybe keep a 1/4 cup. And when we pull it out of the oven after an hour, what we are going to do then is sprinkle that on the top. Okay, I'm going to keep that last just to sprinkle on the top. Now, some people like to add onions and garlic. My husband does not like onions and garlic, so I'm leaving those out. But I do recommend a large onion chopped in and maybe 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. We're going to mix this all together. We might have to get in here with our hands then and finish mixing it, but I'll start with a big wooden spoon. And And some people like to cook off the hamburger first and drain it, but I like to mix it all in and just let it cook out over, and then use a slotted spoon to get them out. And I just think it tastes good like that. Okay, so here is what my hamburger mixture looks like. And of course we need the peppers. Now, I've already cut up a bunch of peppers, but I saved one or two just to show you if you've never cut a pepper. Some of you are brand new cooks. I just sit it on my little cutting board and cut it in half vertically. And you have a heart and the seeds in there. So what you want to do is also cut around the stem, almost like you're cutting out an apple core, and then simply pull it out like this. And I find that if I turn it upside down and just tap it a couple of times, all but one or two of the seeds will just fall right out, and that is ready for stuffing. So here we have another one. And again, looks pretty clean in there. We do need a baking pan, and we're going to spray the baking pan with Pam. And as you know, I like to use scoopers, so I got an ice cream scooper, and I'm just going to fill that with my mixture. And then I also have something I can round the top with a little bit. And I stuffed my pepper, and I'm going to stick it in my baking dish. And when you go to the store, you can probably pick out peppers that are just about all the same size. But when it comes to your garden, guess what? You get all different shapes, sizes, and colors. For instance, here's a red pepper that grew. And I think red peppers mostly are green peppers that kept on growing and weren't harvested when they were green. I'm sure there are experts out there who will correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen our green peppers turn red, so that's why I'm thinking most peppers will turn red eventually. I'm also going to pour some tomato sauce on this, maybe about 50 minutes in, so it heats up real nice. And we like tomato sauce on our peppers, so in addition to the tomatoes inside, we're going to have a nice sauce cooking on the outside. Now that's a really tiny, funny little shaped one, but it'll get eaten. I have one or two peppers on the wayside here, just in case I need them. But usually you get about 8 regular sized peppers. And like I say, I have all different sizes and colors and shapes, so I don't know exactly how many I'm going to need. And these can be frozen once they're cooked, by the way. Then you can heat them up in a lickety-split fashion for a meal another day. It makes an awful lot. Unless you have a big family, of course, or somebody really likes stuffed peppers, they just might eat them all. And if you run out of peppers and you have some hamburger left, you can just make it like a meatloaf, and if somebody doesn't like peppers, they can eat it more like a meatloaf instead of into peppers. Make everybody happy. Okay, I'm going to go turn on my oven. If you haven't seen it before, I have an old-fashioned cook stove. It happens to be gas. It's what I have. It's my only oven. So I hope you enjoy that as well. I'm going to wash my hands and then we'll move over to the stove. Okay, here we are at my oven. We're going to turn the gas on the side, open this door, turn on the gas here, and if I have any juice left in this lighter, there we go. Ooh, we get a little poof, and there is no thermostat, so I have to adjust it by sight. I've just done it for so long. I turn it on. Let me get the peppers. I'm going to cover my peppers with some aluminum foil just so they don't burn. It'll also add a little steam so that they cook better, and 350 degrees for 1 hour. We'll be back to pull them out. I'm going to get this out of the oven. Sprinkle everything with cheese. And I think we're ready to eat.